Hey man, Harry Patrick here, and for this vlog, I'm going to talk about not one, but two Nickelodeon movies released on Netflix, and that is Rocko's Modern Life, Stay Clean, and Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus. Now, before I talk about these movies individually, I want to give my personal connection with the shows they were based on. I didn't watch Rocko's Modern Life that much. I saw a few episodes and I enjoyed them a bit. I just didn't have the time to watch them. I was mostly watching SpongeBob SquarePants, The Rugrats, Fairly OddParents, and Cat Dog and Nickelodeon. As for Invader Zim, I watched that show many times. It was surreal, dark, but it was still funny. And it had some memorable characters like Zim, Gerd, Dib, and Gaz. And there were some episodes that I remember a lot. Some of them were unique, and some of them were pretty dark. So like before with my total drama vlogs, I'm going to put a timestamp in the description box below to let you guys know what movie I'm talking about. So let's begin with Rocko's Modern Life, Stay Clean. In this movie, it takes place after the events from the original series, where Rocko and his friends are still stuck up in space, but then they suddenly found a way to get back to Earth. And when they crash land back to Earth, they discover they're not in the 90s anymore. They're living in the 21st century. Rocko's friends, Heifer and Filbert, are getting into the 21st century, but Rocko is not getting into it that much because everything was pretty much killing him at the beginning. But things get even worse when O-Town, Rocko's hometown, is suffering a financial problem, and they're trying to figure out a way to save the town, but Rocko comes up with an idea to bring back one of his favorite original shows called The Fatheads and make a revival series or movie out of it. So Rocko and his friends decide to travel around the world to find the original creator so he can properly make the revival series. Even though I didn't watch that much of Rocko's Modern Life, I did get some great laughs when watching this movie. I think one of the charms with this movie is that the comedy completely satirized every aspect you can think of the 21st century. It pokes fun at everything related to the 21st century you can think of, like getting the new iPhone, or placing multiple coffee shops, or 3D movies, or 3D printing comic books, or posting and streaming your own YouTube video to get some likes and subscribers. And even though I didn't watch the show that much, I can still say that the characters still remain in character, and there were some funny moments, particularly on Heifer and Filbert, seeing how they quickly adapt to the 21st century. And this also caused an interesting conflict with Rocko, that he couldn't adapt to this change because he was a 90s guy. The animation still looks pretty good, even if it's been years since we saw the original show, and it does take us to new places, particularly the scene where Rocko and his friends travel all around the world on a couch using a drone. Even the movie does have a good message, and it's the same message from Infinity Train, which is adapting to changes. Rocko has to learn that things will be different in the 21st century, and he has to accept it no matter what. I still think Infinity Train tackled that message better because it was more serious, particularly on Tula's relationship with her parents. This one is about Rocko trying to get back his nostalgia of his favorite TV show. But overall, I did have a good time watching this movie, and it did influence me a bit to watch the original series, so I might consider watching the overall series if I had the time. And now for our next Nickelodeon movie, Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus. Dim is pretty much spying on Zim 24/7, seeing how Zim hasn't been out of his own house for who knows how long. And Dim hasn't left his own room for a very long time, and he kind of let himself go. But eventually Zim finally comes out, and he was just stretching and making a viral video of him laughing, which was pretty much a waste of time for both of them. Even if it was a waste of time for both of them, the joke was still pretty funny. Zim says the message to the tallest, the supreme leaders of his alien species, to let them know that he is ready for phase 2, but he forgot about it, so he's trying to come up with his plan just so he can be ready for the tallest to come in and invade and destroy the Earth. But he doesn't know that the tallest are not coming to Earth because they actually exile Zim just so he can leave them alone. But eventually Zim does come up with a plan that revolves around Dr. Membrane's invention, which is this wristband that's supposed to bring in world peace. And he's going to use this wristband to transport the Earth right where the tallest spaceship is so they can destroy it. They're not going to go around it or anything because they always go in a straight line because that's their deal. So it's up to Dim and his sister Gaz to stop Zim and save the Earth. I like this movie a bit better than Rocko's Modern Life, but don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Rocko's Modern Life, the movie. I just liked the Invader Zim movie that much. I guess it's because I watch Zim more than Rocko. One advantage that it has is that I think it upgraded the animation because it looks different than what I remember. There's a lot more shading and there's a couple of new designs on some of the characters, and I actually like these new designs. But it's not as funny as the anime style at the beginning of the movie. I won't give too much away because it's actually pretty funny, and the best part about that anime style, they actually bring it back later in the movie along with these other animation styles. Remember the scene in Weird Mageddon Part 1 in Gravity Falls where Dipper and Wendy go through these magical bubbles and they change different animation styles? Imagine that, but over a minute. The characters are still memorable. Zim is still the clueless alien that's trying to take over the Earth even though he was only exiled like in the original series. Gur is the naive robot boy. Gaz is Dib's sister that pretty much doesn't care at all. And Dib is the human boy and the only person on Earth that knows that Zim is an alien. Yeah, but one important side plot that was actually really interesting and actually surprising is actually the connection between Dib and his dad, Dr. Membrane. Dim wants to gain his father's approval to prove that Zim is an alien, while the father wants to be part of his son's life because he really cares about him. I don't think I recall any episode that revolves around the relationship between Dib and his dad. It's been a long time since I've seen the show, but I actually like this side plot a bit. It actually makes Dr. Membrane a three-dimensional character. Still, I had a great time watching this movie, and if you love Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern Life, you'll definitely have a blast watching these movies. I recommend you watch some of the episodes first before you watch the movies in order to understand what the shows are all about. They may be weird shows, but it was definitely a blast from the past, and I enjoyed every minute of it.